morning. Welcome to the Town of Auburn Planning Board meeting Tuesday, November 12, 2024. Now call to order at 7 p.m. This meeting is being recorded and broadcast live by local access programs. Is there anyone here in the audience tonight recording tonight's meeting? Being none, please rise and join us in the salute to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I would like to remind the audience, applicants, town administration, regional planning board members to please refrain from asking questions in regards to all matters discussed this evening without first being granted my consent. First on our agenda tonight is applicant Mass Futures LLC requesting site plan approval under section 3.2.2.1 of the Auburn zoning bylaw for 21 two-family dwelling condo developments at 25 Vinyl Street, Auburn, Mass. 01501, map 10, parcel 78. Is there anyone here representing Mass Futures?
Yes,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman. Attorney Todd Broder here on behalf of the applicant. Sitting next to me is Garrett Horsall, civil engineer on the project. Since we were last in front of you, we did go to Zoning Board of Appeals and received our special permit for the 42 units as proposed. We've also been to Conservation Commission, had additional, follow-up with them. They seem to be in a position to close their hearing once we're done with this process. No major issues with them on their part. Since we were last with you, Graves Engineering issued their peer review. We have not updated the plans and done a resubmittal as to those comments, but we will. We found them to be pretty minor in nature. One of the things I think I'd want to point out, he made reference to the parking spaces behind the garages and made a recommendation that they be 22 feet long, just because if they were 18 or 20 feet, someone doesn't get close enough to the garage, someone might hang out into the sidewalk area. So you haven't seen it yet, but we have revised our plan set to make those 22 feet parking spaces. And we've also included a 5-foot sidewalk in and around the entire loop on the site as suggested by the board at the last meeting. So those changes and others in accordance with the Graves review, in accordance with the comments that we heard last time about various, pipe sizes and locations and things like that will all be updated and submitted to the board formally, but we didn't have any issues making any of those changes. So I think that was the biggest thing, was the inclusion of that 5-foot sidewalk. What it means, and Garrett can go over it in more detail if you wish, but what it will mean is we've got to push the envelope out a little bit, so it'll cut into the hill a little bit more, and I can pull up. I went by it, sorry. Right here.
So, Garrett Horsfall, Kelly Engineering Group. So, essentially what we've done is we've held the 50-foot conservation buffer zone for structures and impervious surfaces and built off that. So what that sort of does was we had, instead of 20 feet behind the garage, went to 22 feet and then a 5-foot sidewalk wrapping circumferentially around the development, connecting into a crosswalk at the main driveway out to the main driveway into the site. So basically on plan view east here, everything sort of shifted over 18 feet once you add in the 5 and the 2 and double 5 and 4 times 2, 18 feet, everything shifted into the hill essentially. So we're in the process of, obviously that's a domino effect to the grading, stormwater. We're in the process of updating those and the plan set to submit back to the town as well as Graves to address the other comments in the letter as well.
Yeah, and just I think maybe the last issue, just wanted to raise before we just open it up for conversation. We talked about, or there was a comment made at the last meeting about having the road, or I want to call it a driveway, but we'll call it the road for now. It will be. There was a comment that it should be designed to subdivision standards in the town of Auburn. So we took a look at the subdivision standards, and we'd first point out that we don't need to comply with subdivision rules and regulations for this road because it's not a subdivision. It's not going to be a road that will be asked to be taken over by the town. It will remain perpetually private and part of the condominium association, which will be set up. But the details on the subdivision rules, for a minor road, which this would be, it calls for a pavement width of 24 feet, which we have a pavement width now of 24 feet all the way through the project, through the drive. It calls for a 5-foot sidewalk, which we now have a 5-foot sidewalk. What we don't have per se are grass strips in between the sidewalk and the pavement, but we do have on any given side grass strips between the sidewalk and whatever might be on the interior of the lots. So in a lot of respects, we do comply. I think if I'm looking at this, I look at the pavement width and the sidewalk as maybe the two biggest issues to comply with, and we do comply with those. I just wanted to point that out, even though we don't think we need to comply with those rules, because we're not a subdivision, we're not requesting a subdivision here. We do, for the most part, comply with those rules. Anything else? We heard from the Water District. They have no problem servicing the project. We have not heard anything else from any other departments.
I'm waiting to hear back from fire.
Okay.
What about sewer?
I can check that with them.
Sewer department issued comments, perhaps not through the planning board process, but through the zoning board process, they did. And they had comments regarding the sewer pump.
Yeah, we had a follow-up conversation, I believe, a couple weeks ago with Nick Swartz at the sewer department, just to review his letter. We don't see any issues making those changes. The biggest thing was dealing with some of the pitches of the sewer, and we just went through what he wants to see on the revised plans and just make sure everything that he has concerned that we satisfy. So we did follow up and meet with him and went through his list of items, and those will be addressed appropriately.
Yeah, they did, it is on the planning board form, Adam, I'm not sure.
All right, I'll double check to see.
And it was dated September 26th, and they did provide a number of comments, but as Garrett's saying, we're able to address those. There was a number of them regarding the sewer pump station and just making sure that they had appropriate details for that. So, our project hasn't changed a lot since you last saw it. I think we gave you a broad strokes update on what has changed. Happy to answer questions.
Anyone in the audience have any questions? Glenn, you have any questions?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, just one thing. I heard you mention during the zoning board of appeals meeting that you were thinking about making the traffic one-way in the project.
So we were internally considering that in order to sort of not eat into the hill anymore, but given that we have visitor parking spaces hung off of the drive aisle, you really need 24 feet to have a 9x18 space. So we no longer were considering that, just because, and 24 feet is more consistent with the subdivision rules and regs for the roadway width. So that was the main reason why we forewent the 20-foot width.
Ronnie, you have any questions?
Todd, did you say that all the road is 24 feet?
Yes.
From, where you got that line, see where the subdivision the houses kind of end, and
Yeah.
there's a couple of double lines there? All the way out to the road.
So the only place is where it tapers into Vinyl Street, where it's only 20 feet. Vinyl Street is only 20 feet today. So that's where we're tying in to Vinyl Street is only 20 feet. So we have to make the transition from 24 to 20.
And is that where your gate is that currently?
Yeah,
is
right
now?
after that, there's a couple houses. If you pull in with the driveway on the right-hand side, that transition zone will be through there.
Snow storage, are you gonna have all this when you do the updated set of prints to us?
Yeah, there was snow storage called on here. We can, I know there was some confusion with maybe the line type. We can differentiate that a little differently and maybe expand on the snow storage. I know those concerns about not having adequate snow storage, but we can expand the clouds that were shown previously.
Trash, I know you spoke of it the last time or at the Board of Appeals meeting, I think it might have come up. But it's not gonna be, it's gonna be individual people, just like the rest of the town has a collection.
Yep, it'll be through a private, carrier, because it won't be a town service.
When you made these driveways 22 instead of 20, so will the trucks, cars, or whatever vehicle it is now stick out onto the sidewalk
No,
in 2 feet, or it'll still have a full 5 feet of sidewalk clear?
correct, yes.
That was Graves' comment. They said at 20 feet, maybe there'll be some that are too long, or if they don't pull close enough to the garage, they'll stick out, but they felt like their recommendation was 22 feet, so that's what we implemented.
Yeah, but you'll still have, they won't be coming into the sidewalk, even at
Correct.
the 22 feet.
Correct.
So, I mean, an average parking spot is 9 by 18 typically, and, those are,
Some of the new trucks which people have are a little bit longer than that. For now, John, I'm all set.
All set? So, on the right-hand side of your drawing up there, which would be to the east side roughly, you're gonna cut into that hill?
Yes. They're actually, so all the units on that side are, stepped level with the garage depressed, so the main living level is a foot. So we're working with the elevation on the rear side.
You need to have a drive-under garage?
Yes.
Good luck with the drainage.
In
What do you
terms,
do with the water running down the driveway to the garage?
it's pitched back to the street, so it's the 3 levels in the front.
Oh, okay. So by moving those to the east, southeast, what is the slope gonna be on the back of that hill?
So we're gonna maintain still a 20-foot bench behind buildings, and we'll work back into the existing slope no greater than 3 to 1. And if we need to, site walls, we will, but we're gonna work with the foundation wall to gain 10 feet from basement floor to first floor to
I
work
don't
with
understand
grade.
what you mean by you're gonna work with the foundation wall.
So we're gonna gain, the grade does rise, so we're taking advantage.
Look like that, right
Yeah,
now.
we're taking advantage of setting 10 feet higher in lieu of using site retaining walls or a 2 to 1 slope. Taking advantage of a back foundation wall where your basement is, coming up 10 feet to your second level, and that's your exterior grade on the back side.
So you're using the back of the house as a retaining wall,
The foundation wall, yes.
but it's still a retaining wall, basically.
Yeah.
So how do you drain away from the back of the houses? They're pretty close to each other. Are there any catch basins in there to bring it out to your own drainage system that goes into the wetland?
Yep, there's area drain network throughout the rear of the houses that are pitched away and towards the sides. So there's area drains that, and then periodically they'll run through, down the slope into the closed drainage system within the site, which connects into the subsurface systems throughout the site.
So you gotta do that to roughly 7, 8 houses?
The backside with the,
And right there, go up to the corner, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 if you go up around the corner a little bit. You gotta raise those foundations up to accommodate the slope in the back, correct?
yes, that's the intent, is to have those, the exterior ones around the ring.
You save yourself a lot of money by getting rid of 2 houses. A lot of money. You move the house in the center to the middle of that island, now you got your 24-foot roadway, 5-foot walkways with grass strips, and 22-foot driveways. Only 2 houses. 4 units. Make
Which
life
2
easy.
would move, John?
Up there on the, when you drive into the left, like you're going around to the left-hand side, you have the one right there in the V, the next 2 up.
it's hard to see the numbers, but it's 42 and 41, it's right.
Point it out, Todd.
Yeah. I think this is what John's talking about there.
No,
This
not
one?
that one. The next 2 up.
Those,
Keep going up. Nope, just the other side. That,
I'll just keep
Those
going,
two.
I mean, I can go for it all
Yeah.
night. 33 and 34,
this one and this one.
33 and 32.
That allows these houses to move back, which gives you more room for a 5-foot walkway. It gives you 22-foot driveways. By moving these back, you have more room to come this way, because those 2 houses, 4 units aren't there. You'll have way more than enough room. You may even have a few additional empty parking spaces for visitors.
We'll have to review that, certainly, with the applicant to see.
I'm just thinking there's a lot of money in concrete there when you're doing that to 6, 8 houses.
I understand, and they'll review that, the financials with them and see if there's
Because it
opportunity.
won't be a standard foundation on the back of those houses. Those all have to be reinforced with rebar in order to be considered a retaining wall, which is, number 6 is every 6 inches vertical and horizontal. Military corners, the whole 9 yards. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. So the other question I had is, where you come out 24 feet and it pinches down to Vinyl Street, I know it's narrow there. Does Vinyl Street ever go back out to 24? I believe it does up by the school, the parking area.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure the exact dimension out towards Vinyl Street, but I believe it is fairly consistent, but it probably does fan out once you
I
get
think
towards
from
the
their
city.
gate coming up towards Vinyl, it's constricted, and then as it gets adjacent to the school parking lot, it starts to
That's
widen.
not that far. That's really not that far. I'll have to think about that one. My other concern is the intersection where Vinyl Street hits North Oxford Street and Pinehurst Ave. You guys are relying on the TIP grant. We're not relying on the TIP grant. 'Cause this is what I see happening. You guys rely on the TIP grant. Now it's in the town's hands to take care of that intersection. They don't get the money, and the town's stuck with that traffic problem. That's what I see.
So what our traffic engineer recommended as at least a little bit of a fix, because what we're understanding to be the problem is that at the top of Vinyl Street, those people come to a stop, and then they wait for somebody to either let them out or, wait for, big enough break in traffic, but that everybody coming down North Oxford Street towards the intersection just keeps coming, and the people can't get out of Vinyl Street. So I'm just gonna point, because it'll be a little easier.
Yep, be faster.
You come to this intersection, you're trying to get here to go left or right, but you can't get in because all these cars are just stacked up here. So the suggestion that our traffic engineer made was put a stop bar and a stop sign here. These people now have to stop. These people can now, get out at least occasionally, whereas now they fight their way out. So that should help to at least keep things moving. There's nothing any of us can do to stop the traffic coming down North Oxford Street, right? It's gonna keep coming.
No, but the problem I see is you put the stop sign there at the end of North Oxford,
Yes,
which is the north side of Vinyl Street. You got another stop sign right there when it's Pinehurst.
you do.
You're gonna get 8 feet to get in? It's not gonna work. It's not, I live over there, Todd. It's a pain in the neck.
So the idea
Either
would
to
be.
get out of that area or to get in that area.
Yeah, I mean, the idea would be if somebody's at the stop bar at the main road there, there's one car, maybe two, that are in there before you're getting your way out from Vinyl Street.
So,
And they got a
you
stop
know
bar,
as well.
they got to stop.
You know as well as I do that as soon as somebody comes around that corner, hits the stop sign, where you wanna put one, comes around to the next one, the next guy's gonna stop and go, stop and go. Nobody's coming up Vinyl Street. All of a sudden, they're coming up Vinyl Street, and it lines all the way past the stop sign. That's common sense. You see that at a traffic light all the time. Go into Webster Square. You're gonna go across Webster Square, going over to Harbor Freight from Webster Street, and the car's coming down the other way toward the fire station, all bang a left, and they block that intersection. The same thing will happen there, I guarantee it. Unless you wanna go out there and direct traffic. Something's gotta be done about that intersection before we put 42 units or 40 units or whatever number units we're putting in.
How many cars would you say, Todd? How many do you say are projected to enter and leave that each day?
Well, as you know, the traffic engineers use the ITE manual, and they go in and they plug it in, and it says 42 units equals X trips. We can sit here and argue about whether that's an accurate
What did they say?
methodology, but that's what they use. So this
Well, what
is,
was the number?
yeah, up on the screen here, this is Chappelle Engineering Associates, data. They say on a weekday daily basis, it's 270 trips. They break it down into AM peak hour and weekday PM peak hour. And for the AM peak, they say 4 cars entering the site 12 cars exiting the site during that peak hour, which is, one car every 5 minutes.
So only 12 cars are gonna leave in the morning?
Even if you add them all up,
This is
it's 32 cars.
this is traffic engineering.
I don't care what traffic engineering
I
says.
understand.
I know what my eye says.
I understand, but this is.
And I see cars
this is-
lined up coming out of
This
Nancy
is how
Drive
these things are put together.
onto Vinyl Street,
This is
and
the
they're lined up.
information that gets plugged in, and these are
Doesn't work.
the standards that we all live with.
But they're saying weekday, daily, total is 270 trips,
Yeah.
which is probably around 4 trips, 4.5, 5 trips per unit per day. But then those numbers, I don't get.
So
that.
the method, the thing that they would tell
7
you
trips
is,
a unit.
especially now, if you have 42 units over there, how many of those people leave at the same exact time to go to work every day, right? There's gonna be a chunk of people that leave in the morning at 6 o'clock, right? There's gonna be a bunch of people that leave at 6:30, 7 o'clock, and so on. School kids get dropped off, there's different times. So the AM rush is really spread out over a few hours.
Excuse me
This
for
is
one
the-
second.
this is
John,
the
can I
data.
ask him another?
Absolutely.
Now, does that count include Nancy Drive, Vinyl Street, and the school?
No.
That does, it's only for your project?
This is what our project produces as additional traffic to the area.
And did anybody propose, Adam, or anybody, this design of this intersection 5, 6, 7 years from now that the state said they're gonna do it?
We,
If it happens.
internally, we've had some
If it
discussions with a consultant and CMRPC who manages the funding.
But there's no specific design on a piece of paper of what
We're
it would.
ways out from any design.
Anything else, Ron? The other thing, when you said it's gonna be a private HOA and all that stuff, that's great now. When they're done selling the places, they're gone. These people own it with an HOA. It's already happened here once. This town will be built to town standards, because I know down the road, they're gonna come before the town and say, will the town take this over?
You just say no. I mean, that happens everywhere. I've honestly seen that play out in every community. People go in and, I had my great uncle just asked me to do it in Shrewsbury, and I said, you can't. It's a condo association. The town's never gonna take over the road. It's an easy conversation with Adam, 30 seconds. It's a private road, it's never gonna be a town
Well, I
road.
don't think it's his decision, but I think it's highway department.
I'm just saying, that's an easy conversation. Give him my phone number, I'll talk to him.
We've had
'Cause
people,
they don't have.
waste our
it-
time, a few meetings long, Tom.
I
I'm just telling
understand
you.
that, but that's
When
not.
they're gone, they're gone. They don't give,
I don't disagree,
Yeah.
but that's the structure of the project is a private condominium association that is going to be managed internally. They're responsible for snowplow, landscape, insurance on the buildings. They're responsible for everything under the sun. I mean, they wrap it into a condo fee. Everybody pays their condo fees.
oh, so nobody has to pay homeowners insurance? Because it's taken care of by the HOA? That's a falsehood.
I'm not
You own
sure.
a condo,
I'm
you
not
have to buy
sure.
homeowners insurance.
I'm not
It's not-
sure how they set them up now.
It's not telltale.
But historically, condos, and at least in bigger buildings, they insure the building and they pass on a piece of it as insurance to the
Yeah, but it's an
owners.
apartment building. mean, you get-
I don't know what they do with duplexes. I'm not sure. I'm not trying to speak to that. I'm just saying that these things are privately managed and privately run.
The other comment you made in the last meeting is if we didn't allow this, you could put in 54 homes?
No. What I said was, if we tried to maximize the site per the square footage and acreage on the site, we could go up to 50, I don't know the number, 54, 56,
I think
whatever
it's
it was.
54, 52.
Yes.
So you wouldn't have the frontage for each house to make the town?
We don't need it.
You wouldn't have you would. If you did individual homes,
If we
instead
did,
of
if we
this,
did individual homes,
you have to have the frontage. And you wouldn't have the frontage for 52 homes. The only way to get those 52 homes in is have sliver lots, and half the land goes out into the wetlands on the west side.
Yeah, we weren't talking about single-family homes.
And that
Sorry.
frontage
They wouldn't meet the
formula
requirement.
doesn't meet.
No, it wouldn't be. So the 52 units, that was just a tale. So So obviously, we can't vote tonight, because I haven't seen the revised plans.
Yep.
My next question was, where's the pump station going? Is that going off the paved service?
Well, the hatch will be, and then the tanks, portions of the tanks may be underneath our paved surface, but the hatch component will be in the lawn surface, you know, per the previous comment at last meeting.
Yeah, because it will get torn up, guaranteed.
Agree. Thank you for the comment.
And Todd, it does mimic in the old days what we call the cluster housing. So I don't recall in all my years on the board, anything that's ever come in like this, where you've got, you know, all of those houses that close, and using the driveway, because they used to have to come in, they had to show the usable land, the common land, so many houses, they were reduced to 50 feet of frontage maybe instead of 100, because I think that's 100 feet of frontage in that area down on Nancy. Or was it
Our
20?
standard lot, yeah,
Is it 10,000 square feet or 100, or 20?
1,000.
Do the school buses get down Nancy Drive to pick up the kids?
I don't believe so, but I can find out.
That would be another, because that'd be another nightmare for traffic, trying to get them to school. Even if they go down to,
There's a cul-de-sac at the end, the little one, but
Oh,
it's not big enough for school buses.
No.
there is. I thought there was.
It's not big enough for school buses.
No, maybe not.
No. But I mean, if they did, they'd probably get on Nancy Drive and then pick up the kids, turn around where Julia Bancroft is, and then come out. But if you add that bus traffic for those kids to get out, and there's a traffic jam out there at the main intersection, they're never gonna get to school on time. That's another problem. I mean, that's not our problem, that's your guys' problem, the way I see it. So I mean, something you should find out is where the school buses go, how many buses, how many times a day. Because if there's special needs, sometimes the special needs get out a half a day. If the kindergarten, sometimes the kindergarten kids take a half a day and they get picked up and they get brought back the other half of the day. All kinds of things. It's gonna add to the traffic problem down that intersection. You can't even get out Otis Street anymore, because everybody uses the cut through for North Oxford coming down to Pinehurst. When that backs up, they shoot out of Otis, and Otis backs up to the top of the hill. You can't get out either way.
I don't know where all that traffic's coming from.
Coming from Worcester, people coming home.
It's not coming from this site.
No, but that's not gonna make it any better. It's only gonna make it worse.
So we're happy to revise the plans, respond to Graves. I think that's the plan, would be to do that in the next, week or 10 days. I don't know when your next meeting is, but soon we'll be ready for that.
December 10th.
December 10th.
December 10th?
Yep.
Okay, so we respectfully request to continue into December 10th meeting.
Do I have a motion to
Move to continue. Continue this to 12:10 meeting.
We have a second?
second it?
All those in favor, Glenn?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Aye.
Jason, aye. Myself, Jim, Glenn, is a vote. We'll see you at the 10th.
Great, thanks so much.
You want your drive
I'll
back?
take it back, yeah. Is it in there?
Thank you.
Now, the other people coming?
I thought so.
I'll wait for these guys to clear, see if they're up there. And then
They could be out.
Next on the agenda is applicant CEMS LLC, care of Henry Reisenkopf, requesting a special permit and site plan approval under section 3.2.5.3 of the Auburn zoning bylaw for a coffee shop and other site improvements at 602 Southwood Street, Auburn, Mass. Map 56, parcel 148, continued from our September 24th meeting. Is there anyone here representing CMS?
So I thought there would be an attendance, but I'll just give you an update. VHB, the applicant got their traffic response back to VHB.
Hi, Rich. They done? Are they done?
They're done. They rambled on, and they're done. I know. It's a
Go ahead, Ed.
strange visitor that
So
came in from the north.
VHB is working on the second review. VHB just got additional funds to complete the second review, so that work's still happening. So expect to have the traffic report and the VHB review to you for the next meeting.
Seeing there's no one in attendance, may I have a motion to continue this to our December 10th meeting?
I'll make that motion.
May I have a second? All those in favor, Glenn?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Jason?
Aye.
Myself, Jerry, aye, it is a vote. Next on the agenda, it was the decision 27 Mid-State Drive, we've all signed that. Meeting minutes. Hang on a second here. Can I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes as submitted for 9/24/2024?
I move to approve the minutes submitted for 9/24/2024.
May I have a second?
Second?
All those in favor, Glenn?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Jason?
Aye.
Myself, Jerry's aye, is a vote. The next meeting. I did make a correction on the next meeting, one small thing. It was just that you said, I said to put in 2.5 to 3 inches of stone. It was to use 2.5 inch or 3 inch stone, the size of the stone. So I'll give this to you so you can see where I made the correction. Could I have a motion to approve
I move
the
to
October 8th meeting minutes as amended?
I move to approve the October meeting, October 8th minutes as amended.
May I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, Glenn?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Jason?
Aye.
Myself, John Reed, and aye, it is a vote. And lastly, meeting minutes for our October 22nd meeting. May I have a motion to approve as...
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting of October 22nd, 2024.
May I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor, Glenn?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Jason?
Aye.
Myself, John Regan, is an aye. No unforeseen business by me. Any town member, town planner update?
No.
May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Move to adjourn the meeting.
May I have a
Second.
second? All those in favor, Glenn?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Jason?
Aye.
Myself, John Regan, is an aye. It's a vote. Meeting is now adjourned.